Hello there, I'm Eckert, and welcome to another installment of RPG Retrospectives, a series where I give my opinions and thoughts of RPGs from the past. Today I'm gonna talk about Dragon Quest II, a sequel that came out just months after the first one. I'm going to be making some comparisons with Dragon Quest I since this is a direct sequel, not only in the story but also in the evolution of its gameplay. If you want to know my thoughts on Dragon Quest I, check the tag on the top right corner for a link to my Dragon Quest I video or the description down below. Dragon Quest II begins 100 years after the end of the first entry. The hero of Dragon Quest I, Medieval Luigi, took the Princess of Tentacle, Princess Daisy, and traveled the world. They created 3 kingdoms and left each kingdom to one of their children, essentially achieving world domination. But evil came again, and it's time for the bloodline of the hero to save the world once again. But in this game, instead of one hero, yes, we have 3. For simplicity's sake, I'm gonna call the first hero Prince 1, the second one Prince 2, and the last one it's Princess. It's the only princess. The other ones are princes. We start at the Kingdom of Midenhall, where we meet the first hero, a young man who's entrusted the task to go to the other kingdoms and gather the strength of his cousins to destroy the new threat. After getting to the new kingdom, we find out the second prince has also set out to do the same thing. And after missing each other again and again, we finally find the second prince. And then there's only one left, the princess. Once we go to her kingdom, we find it completely ravaged and destroyed by monsters, but she somehow managed to escape. We need the 3 heroes, so of course she must survive. And once we find her, we see that she has been turned into a dog. All we need to do then is find a magic mirror to show her true self, free him from her curse, and we finally have a party. After getting the party, we set out to the rest of the world in order to find 5 sigils, which then will open a path to where the evil lord is, so we can finally save the world again. Yes, the story is still basic, but it still saw some improvements coming from Dragon Quest 1. Granted, the game really left a lot of room for improvement, so any little addition really helped. We finally have party members, and the world was also expanded. We have now more towns, more kingdoms, which helps add more lives to the world than it ever did on the first game. But more importantly, the Puff Puff tradition continues. I know that's like the most important part of the game. Yes, you can still get the Puff Puff. This time the service is provided by a bunny girl. And fun fact, in the original Japanese release, if you reject her services, she would accuse the princess of not being into women. Which doesn't surprise me why they changed that on the Western translation. Back in the 80s, they didn't want to put that in a video game, which were thought to be only made for children. There's a particular event that threw me off, and I mean it in a good way. At one point in the game, if you rest at an inn, the second prince will be cursed by the evil wizard Hargan and unable to be in the party, prompting an interesting quest in which you must obtain a special item to lift the curse. This can be avoided just by not resting at the inn. Yet, I've played this game 2 times, and I fell prey to this twice. I was especially surprised by this though, because so far the story was predictable, and this was an unexpected event with no warning whatsoever. I can see how it can be annoying to lose a party member without any foreshadowing, but in this case I found it very interesting. I know some games where party members can become unavailable for plot reasons like Xenogears and the Final Fantasy games, to name a few, but I can't think of a game in recent memory where you lose a party member in such an out-of-nowhere, optional, and avoidable manner. Exploring towns felt like I needed a dictionary. I found words like bluster, prithee, Sarah, cocksure, edel-pated dwaddler, tither, tidings, and many, many more. I'm probably pronouncing most of those wrong. It helped expand my vocabulary, yes, but at the same time, will I actually ever use them IRL? Don't think so. It did help in transporting us to a medieval era where Old English is used. The gameplay is simple. It's a turn-based RPG with an attack, defend, flee, and item option, at least with the first prince. The second prince and the princess replace the flee option with spells, which adds an interesting dynamic since the first prince can only do melee attacks, leaving the offensive and healing magics to the other two party members. To my recollection, it's one of the earliest JRPGs that have party members, and I think they did a great job on making them each feel unique in battle, due to the difference in spells, weapons, and armors they can equip, and also on each of their stat growth. Now that we have multiple party members instead of one, there are multiple enemies in the field this time around, but even with the multiple enemies, due to the simple nature of the battle system, the battles are also done very fast. Dragon Quest II is true to the series and old school JRPGs in the fact that you need to grind levels and money for equipment in order to progress. To help with that, we have metal slimes, which are small enemies that give a huge amount of experience once you defeat them, but are very elusive and prone to flee. Like, I literally had one battle in which 7 of them appeared at once, and all of them flee. Couldn't kill a single one. And that was with a full party. Just my RNG sometimes. It happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you. Going back to metal slimes content, for late game we also have liquid metal slimes, which give even more experience, facilitating the grinding. Another improvement, now we can also save in different towns as long as the king is there to record your adventure, and in some cases, a priest can also serve as a save point. Meaning of course as there are no save points in the dungeons or the world map. So make sure you're prepared before going to a new place, because if you lose a battle, then you will go back to the last town you saved, and you will also lose half of your money as penalty. Speaking of dungeons, most of them are standard. You go from one hallway or floor to the next until you reach your destination. My only gripe with them is the excessive amount of hallways that lead you nowhere. Usually, you expect that if you go through a path that leads you nowhere, you will get at least a treasure chest. That was not always the case in Dragon Quest II. There is one in particular where you have to go a floor full of holes so you can fall through, but no way to tell where the holes are. That was by far the most frustrating sequence of the game. Besides that, everything else was good. A welcome addition is the fact that there's a spell that lets you escape dungeons once you're done, as well as another spell and item that can let you travel to towns you have previously visited, keeping the backtracking to a minimum. That's always a plus for me. If you're a fan of puns, then you will also love the enemies in Dragon Quest II. Most of them have names that involve a pun in some way or another, like Rat Skull, Bat Boon, Batman Drill, Wackolide. Again, fan of these puns. Amazing. Thank you, Dragon Quest. The art of Dragon Quest II is gorgeous. It's Akira Toriyama's recognizable art style that adds to the charm of the series, and this game is no exception. The music is incredibly charming. The battle theme is catchy, as is the world map theme. The theme in towns is very whimsical and magical. Also, the dungeon ones set the perfect tone for a place where you are in danger, but also has that whimsical touch added to it. I think it's due to the instrumental quality of the score, and also due to the talent and work of the composer Koichi Sugiyama. Overall, Dragon Quest II was a fun experience, but if you compare it to today's standards, most of its mechanics and story are very archaic. But if you're into old school JRPGs, then it is definitely worth playing. It was a very relaxing way to spend time thanks to its simple nature of gameplay and narrative, and it only took me about 12 to 14 hours to complete. I can definitely tell how they took Dragon Quest I and made it better. It was nice to see that instead of trying something new like other franchises do once they make a sequel, they just expanded upon the foundation of Dragon Quest I, which I absolutely love, and in my opinion, that's the best way to handle a sequel. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this video, feel free to comment and don't forget to like and subscribe for more content like this. Also, you can follow me on social media like Twitter, Discord, and Twitch, where I'll do all of my playthroughs. All of them, you can find them in the description down below. Again, thank you so much for watching and hope to see you all soon.